Hi, everybody. Once again, welcome to another PRTC Community Calendar, and we're at the beautiful, what we used to call the Hampton Street Auditorium. Of course, now it's known as the Civic Center. And Jenny Bunton is doing a phenomenal job of bringing some really world-class entertainment to right here in Walterboro. Once again, the Civic Center is a jewel in the crown of Walterboro, and she is doing such a great job. And I understand you've got a great comedy night with the Boomer Broads. Now, I'm assuming Boomer meaning around my age group, I guess.
I'm going to be careful and not answer that question.
Okay.
Yes, the Boomer Broads, I found them. They travel all over the country. They've actually been showcased on NBC comedy shows, other networks such as Fox, and some other, you know, just some neat stuff. They've got some big notoriety in some of the smaller circles of comedy groups.
Sure.
And they travel to the upper part of the state, and I found out that is a fabulous area to tap into because they don't know about down here.
Right.
And I contacted them, and they were on their way to Savannah.
So it's a perfect stop.
Perfect stop.
Right.
And I said, do you know where we are? And they said, no clue. I said, well, that means you need to come visit.
Exactly.
So these three ladies, I've talked to them several times. They are so sweet. They are very funny. I've got videos and examples on the website at colletoncivic.org, and also on the Facebook and Instagram pages for the Civic Center.
Right.
But we're going to have us an ultimate ladies' night. Now, that doesn't mean the fellas don't need to come.
Okay.
We need the fellas to be here, too.
Right, of course.
So I've got some local businesses that have given us some donations. We're going to do a free ladies raffle for some fun stuff.
Oh, nice.
We've got two poor girls will be here with their mobile bar set up.
Big hit.
We'll have a little small concession table with snacks, and we're going to have a good time.
You know, one of the things people have to worry about sometimes when it comes to comedy shows, and you and I were talking before we started, the interview here, that it's family friendly.
Yes, it is. It is family friendly. In addition, we'll have waters and sodas for sale as well. Yeah, it's comedy. You know, sometimes can be a risky kind of situation.
Exactly.
And even though everybody needs to laugh, and not everybody laughs at the same stuff.
That's true.
But these ladies pride themselves on being family friendly, very funny, very sweet, and everybody just needs to come.
All right, the Boomer Broads, and they're going to be here again when?
They're going to be here Friday, March 28th at 7. You can get tickets online at colletoncivic.org. You can visit the Colleton Museum. You can visit me right here at the office, and we'll have some at the door for sale as well.
All right, so the Boomer Broads coming March 28th. Looking forward to some great comedy. Family-friendly comedy.
That's right.
Now, you got so many things going on.
Yes.
All right, the next we're going to talk about an art exhibit. Now, you've got a little different art exhibit. Tell us about this, which I always love. You're constantly changing the art, and I always enjoy, dropping by and looking at it.
Yeah, you always do. Thank you. I appreciate
And you've got something a little different this time. Tell me about it.
I do. In that little small art gallery space, it's a fantastic multi-purpose room that's used for meetings, gatherings. We do all kinds of stuff in there, but it's got these beautiful walls that are just made for hanging art. And this month we did something a little bit differently. I have on the website, you can contact the office to display your art for free, because some people, they don't know if they're comfortable with venturing out with such a personal part of themselves.
It can be, yes.
This is a smaller way to see if it's something they're interested in doing before they put it into a bigger space. So this month I was contacted by a local author, and I was not aware that in our area we have a group of authors and illustrators that meet monthly, not only to encourage and work together and encourage each other, but they self-publish and sell their works. And I was really shocked and really impressed. They came up here and brought some of their stuff, their paintings and illustrations from their books, and I said, why don't we set up the books? That's an art form. That is a literary art form.
Exactly.
And so about 5 of them came up here and set up 3 tables of some of their artwork that has inspired their books, but also put their books out and their information in case anybody would like to reach out to them and purchase them. And if they're interested in even joining this group, they're known as the Writers Who Write of Walterboro.
That is really cool.
It is very neat to see
the illustrators are from the area as well?
All these people are local.
So they just joined up. You got the illustrators, you got the
and some of them do both. We even have one gentleman that teaches at the high school. He's an international teacher, and he takes Indian novels and translates them into English.
From the Indian language, and he puts it over into where English. That's
exactly.
That's amazing.
And so it was very informational for me. I had no clue. I had met one of the ladies previously because she brought in some of her photography, and she just happened to mention, we have a writers group. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. I'd love to meet them. And they brought in all of this stuff. And in addition to that, they take their illustrations. We've got some ladies that have painted the stuff on plates and on ceramics they have designed. We've got quilts that they have also brought with them in addition to another art group in there.
Right.
It's just been neat to see these different things come in. I never know what they're going to bring in, but
that
I
is
love
so
it.
good. I love the history of the fact he's taking Indian stories,
but
translating them where anybody, we can read about them.
I go in there and look at it every other day because I see something different. But that group's in there. In addition, we have a group called the Saturday Social Sewing Group.
Okay.
And it's just a group of people that enjoy doing quilts. They've come together and created stuff together, and they've got a couple of their things hanging in there this month.
I love the artwork of the quilt. I mean, you think about what has to go in to make all the different designs and patterns and everything.
And the stories behind them. I had one lady come in and she explained to me her quilt and everything that was on it and where she got the pieces from to create it. And then we have a beautiful set of paintings also on display. It's a very eclectic mix for the next couple of months, and I'm really proud of it, and I'm impressed by the people that are. I get to meet some of the neatest people in this job. I really do.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do. So the art exhibit will be going on for how long?
The art exhibit will be going on through the end of April.
Right.
So we can then get ramped up for some special stuff coming
up. Any specific times they need to stop by the Civic Center?
Just whenever the Civic Center is open, and whenever I have events here, like during the Boomer Broads next week, it will be open.
So they can go look at the art as well as enjoy the show. All right, well, that sounds good. I'm looking forward to seeing that as soon as we wrap up.
Good.
All right, and you got, speaking of so much stuff, you got a tribute to Southern Rock. Now, that's kind of where I cut my teeth when I was younger. Southern Rock, I actually met and talked with Dickie Betts from the Allman Brothers, Greg Allman, all those guys, and of course grew up in Marshall Tucker and Charlie Daniels and Leonard Skinner. Actually, Ronnie Van Zant's aunt used to call me all the time. She lives in Charleston. Yeah.
Oh wow.
Aunt Lee is. So I got a lot of Southern roots for Southern Rock, and I understand you've got a tribute band coming that's going to be about the heroes of Southern Rock.
We do. Last year, I had someone bring in some groups, and this gentleman said, he was a promoter. He said, I'm going to bring in some stuff to the Colleton area, and I said, okay. And he contacted me about this group from Atlanta called the Glow Band. Brought him in. I wasn't even here. He had rented the facility, brought him in. I was out of town, and I started getting phone calls a couple weeks after, when are they coming back?
Wow.
And I said, well, I mean, we can look into it. I thought it was a fluke thing.
Right.
Every time I've had an event, is the Glow Band coming back? So I didn't wait on this promoter. I called them myself and I said, listen, there's some people that have been asking, when is Glow Band coming back? They did an Eagles tribute last year. And so they had never played in South Carolina.
Wow.
They had only played around the Georgia area. They'd gone up to Tennessee and some other places, but had never gotten into a market like ours for South Carolina.
Right.
So I called them and I said, y'all want to come back? I said, I've got people asking for you. And they said, we loved the feel of Walterboro. We'd love to come back.
That's really cool.
So I think there's about 7 people in the band. They're going to come in and do Leonard Skinner, Charlie Daniels, Allman Brothers, everybody that you mentioned.
Right.
Full band. They are wonderful. They are so much fun. And they get audience participation. They brought people up on the stage last year. They go out in the audience. I heard nothing but awesome stuff. I'm excited to bring them ourselves.
That sounds like a lot of fun. Now, when is that going to be?
That is not until April 12th, but that's only a couple weeks away.
It's going to be here before you know it.
It is, and once again, the gallery will be open with the same stuff I was telling you about. And then also, we'll have another group with a mobile bar coming in, another local business called Sip and Saddle.
Sip and Saddle?
Sip and Saddle.
Oh,
so,
right.
we get promoted by so many great local things. This is a community civic building. I really like to promote the small businesses around here, whether it's something like that or downtown or other stuff. It's a great community, and I think this is a great venue with these type of events to celebrate that.
And like I said, you're bringing so much great talent to the area.
I'm trying.
And you're doing a fantastic job.
Thank you.
You really are. Tell you what, we're going to take a quick break because we got a lot more to talk about.
Oh, yeah.
They got one big surprise. A guy I know fairly well is going to be coming to town.
I heard that rumor.
Looking forward to talking about that in a minute. Anyway, once again, you're watching PRTC's Community Calendar. We're talking to Jenny Bunton. Jenny is just an awesome person who does so much for the community, especially right here at the Civic Center. We'll have more on the Community Calendar with PRTC, Jenny and me, in just a few moments. Hi, everybody. Once again, welcome back to PRTC's Community Calendar. We're at the Civic Center with Jenny Bunton. And Jenny, you've got so much going on, but there's something else that's going to be happening. It's all part of the WHAM Festival. WHAM, by the way, starts, basically, it's an acronym for Walterboro History, Arts, and Music. That's right. And that's the WHAM Festival, which is, there's so much going on. A big surprise we'll talk about with Matt in just a few moments. But there's actually a couple of the events that are going to be held here at the Civic Center.
That's right.
Give us a little breakdown of what's happening at WHAM.
WHAM is so much fun. I'm excited to be a part of it now after getting to go to it for a couple of years prior to coming on board. But during the week of WHAM, we are all over the downtown area partnering with so many different people, which Matt will talk with you about. But here specifically at the center, we've got two big things going on during that week. We have reached out and partnered up with the Somerville Orchestra right down the road, and they will be sending a string quartet.
Oh, I love string quartets.
Which sounds so amazing. This building is a little bit bigger than what chamber groups should play in traditionally, but like you and I have talked about before, the acoustics of this room.
Phenomenal.
It just throws it out there in the blend of a string quartet. A lot of people think, it's stuffy and, it's, classical music. There's just something about a string quartet. Everybody needs to listen and experience. So
sometimes, especially when you see it live, it quiets the soul.
There's just something transformative about it. So they're going to be doing a special Sunday afternoon concert on Sunday, May 4th at 3 o'clock. It is free and open to the public right here in the Civic Center.
One last thing about the string quartet. If you listen to a lot of the old 60s music, including the Beatles and many, many others, they all, a lot of their major hits had a lot of strings.
It's incorporated. And what gets me is nowadays kids don't realize that most of the strings they hear or most of the technology they're hearing with the mixing, there's string elements mixed into it. So to be able to hear it live and in person at any age is a really, really neat experience, and this one's free. Sunday afternoon, go to church, get you some lunch, and then come over here.
That sounds great. So once again, what's the date on that?
That is Sunday, May the 4th at 3 o'clock.
All right, now you also have the Children's Theater. Tell me about that.
The Children's Theater, which is near and dear to my heart. The Children's Theater last year, at the end of the fall production, we announced that we were starting a youth theater, a youth workshop, under the leadership of Brianna Chapman, who is one of our alums, and we called it Colleton Children's Theater Encore, bringing them back, because some of these kids had aged out. COVID had kept them from being able to continue to be a part of it. So they are going to be presenting their first production called Complaint Department and Lemonade. It is very funny. They have a very small cast, mostly made up of Salkehatchie students, which is very, very cool. They're going to be putting on a production right here on Friday, May 9th at 6:30. Opening for them is a really cool project. Throughout the year, we have workshops and classes put on by some of the people who work with the big fall production for the Children's Theater. And one of them is a group that started with two middle school guys, who came up with an idea for a play, but didn't know what to do with it. So they were led by one of our instructors, Kat Pinellas, who works at the middle school as an art teacher. And they totally storyboarded and designed a whole entire play.
Wow.
We've got the papers. We're going to put them on display. They came up with everything. And another class that I was teaching watched them put it together, and a couple of the kids said, Miss Jenny, why can't we produce what they created?
Wow.
So these kids did that. So since January, we even have a student middle school, high school director. These kids have done every aspect of it.
They've gone through the whole process.
They've done everything. So they have come up with an adventure called Shipwrecked Adventures. And they are going to be the opening act for CCT Encore's production of Complaint Department Lemonade.
Sometimes you see a lot of famous actors, actresses, and they all talk about how they got their start. Usually it's in local theater.
It is. They got to start somewhere, but and that's been the cool thing also about Encore is they're seeing what comes next. They're so used to the children's aspect of it, what comes next and stepping up, and the kids in the other class have learned what all goes into actually producing, creating, directing, light design.
All the things behind the scenes that people don't even think about. But it's there and it's got to be there.
Well, theater is such an interactive art form, and there's so many different moving parts to it that we wanted to really show that to these kids as they move forward. No matter what they do in life, they need to take some of these skills with them to the next level. So
and who knows, maybe the next major star might have started right here.
that's right. And as long as they come back home and they take care of us, that's all that matters.
Amen. So once again, that's going to be the Children's Theater Open House, May 9th at 6:30.
That's right. And that is also free and open to the public during the WHAM Festival.
All righty. Speaking of the WHAM Festival, we're going to talk to Matt in just a few moments about something real special, near and dear to my heart. But first, let's do a real quick recap of all the things you got going on. All right, first off, the Boomer Broads.
Boomer Broads are coming March 28th at 7 o'clock right here at the Civic Center, a night of fun comedy.
All righty. And then, of course, we got the art exhibit we were talking about.
Art exhibit's going to be going on right through the end of April.
And then, of course, if you love Southern rock and roll, and who grew up in the South that doesn't love Southern rock and roll, then we got a special tribute band. Tell us about that.
So 2 weeks after you come laugh, you need to come back and dance the night away with us for the Glow Band Heroes of Southern Rock show.
And as always, if you need more information about all the events that are coming up at the Civic Center, you can find it at
ColletonCivic.org, or go to our Facebook, go to our Instagram. I'm on there all the time.
All right, Jenny, it's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you.
Really, truly
Love
is.
it when y'all come.
We love being here. Right. And we've got a special announcement coming up in just a few moments. We're going to take another quick break. Once again, you're watching PRTC's Community Calendar from the Civic Center. We'll be right back. Hi, everybody. Once again, welcome back to PRTC's Community Calendar. We're at the Civic Center, and we're also talking to Matt Mardell. Matt, good to see you again, my friend.
See you.
WHAM Festival is coming up. There's so much that's going to be happening. Now, in case people don't know, the WHAM Festival stands for
Walterboro History, Arts, and Music.
And we're going to have all that lined up for everybody. And when is the WHAM Festival taking place?
So this year it takes place May 3rd through 10th.
Okay.
I first sat on the couch with you and Hank Amundsen like 5 years ago when we started this,
I
and it was
that,
a different time of year. We had just come out of COVID, but now we're kind of settled in that first week of May window.
All right, it's going to be, weather should be beautiful, everything should be right.
Fingers crossed.
And now give us a rundown of some of the things that keep the biggest surprise for the very end. Okay?
Yeah, indeed.
All right, so tell us about what you got going on.
So we've got lots. The whole point of WHAM is for the local arts history organizations to really get together and share what we all do. So the library's going to have their programs. We're going to have Palmetto Blocks here. It's a local guy, Andrew Heap, big Lego builder, fanatic.
Okay, yeah, I've actually talked to Andrew.
And he's doing a big display out of the rec center. And then we'll have some classes pertaining to local history. So we've got an indigo dyeing class, we've got a sweetgrass basket workshop at the museum. The big thing is we'll have art galleries in and around town. So you'll have the art gallery functioning here, which is for high school, middle school students. We'll have an art gallery at the Walterboro Wildlife Center for elementary school. Yeah. And then we'll have an art gallery at the museum itself for the art competition. So local artists, we've found as this festival's grown, contribute their artwork. They compete for cash prizes.
Nice.
And they get to show off their artwork in this conducive environment.
Now, in the competition with the art, is there different categories, I assume?
Sure. So photography, 2D and 3D art. So if that's something you want to submit your artwork in, please go to our website, whamfestival.org, and consider, because we've had so many local people who do artwork at home and never get to share it. And so this has been the gateway for people to be able to share their artwork, and there's some huge talent.
I was just going to say there's a lot of talent in this area that people don't realize.
Right.
And this gives them a chance to really show off what they have.
Exactly. I mean, the biggest example would be young Luke Mixon, who first competed at 14 years old. He cut silhouettes in the Karoo clay rice fashion.
Right.
And his biggest contribution is the silhouette that you'll see when you ride down Main Street that says, "Welcome to Walterboro," as the mural on the wall of the Sergeant Margie Bright Matthews' office.
That is really cool, and he did that.
He did that.
Yeah, I've got a couple of clay rice stuff from way back when. Actually, I was looking at one of them just the other day thinking about that. So that's really neat.
Yeah,
it's
really
great.
neat
It's good to see that continue on.
Sure.
All right, so we've got all that, but you've got a lot of other stuff going on as well, right?
Sure. So we'll have nature walk through the sanctuary. We'll have.
Now they've gotten all that cleaned back up. Everything good with them?
As far as I understand, it's it's looking really good. The boardwalks are coming back in shape. I don't think they're all quite open yet, but I know the one from Jeffrey's is now open, so
Excellent.
that's great for
That's
people.
very good news.
And then, yeah, I mean, there's just going to be a ton of stuff going on. Plus, we'll kick off farmers market season. So
People
farmers
look
market.
forward to that. Now, when they do the farmers market, I know at one time they were doing food trucks down there as well, or doing food. Are they going to do that
Yeah,
again?
so the food trucks come and go. They'll sign up for one particular week or not, and so we'll have it. We'll have local music during the festival. Jenny Bunton's brother's going to be playing, Will.
Oh, okay.
We'll also have Representative Robbie Robbins with his band is going to play at the farmers market.
Excellent.
For the opening weekend. So
Excellent.
again, we're just diversifying what we bring because there'll be a little something for everyone, but the whole premise is to encourage local talent to come out.
And we also have some national talent coming to town. And
A small one.
the guy I knew back in the 90s and super nice guy. Kevin Kinney and the guys, otherwise known as Driving and Crying. I understand one of the guys who Driving and Crying wasn't able to make this particular show, so they're just calling it Kevin Kinney and the band, but I'm sure he'll be playing a lot of the Driving and Crying stuff, a lot of his solo stuff, and a super nice guy and very talented. And of course, we played him a lot at 96 Way back in the day in the 90s and still do. I still love listening to Kevin.
Right.
Tell us about Kevin Kinney and his band coming to town.
Well, this is a great achievement for us. It was a real shot in the dark. We thought we'd try it, and we sent them an email, and they were interested. And so we're going to bring them to the finale concert, which we always have, which rounds up the festival for us. We'll start off the evening at 5 p.m. on May 10th.
Now, where's this going to be located?
This will be at the Walterboro Wildlife Center
Okay, it'll be at the
in the
Wildlife
outdoor
Center.
amphitheater.
Right.
So it will be a packed house, I'm pretty sure. We'll have food trucks. We'll have two poor girls will be there.
Oh, great. Fantastic.
So we'll have refreshments, and then you'll have a performance by the local elementary choir that's come together especially for this. And another local talent, Rhett Tanner, will be here with his
Awesome.
band,
That's
Three
Lynn's
Easy
son,
Pieces.
right?
That's right.
All right, great.
Great guitarist. Rhett played last year with Jim Brown.
Awesome.
And so Rhett's going to be there this year with his band, Three Easy Pieces. So they're going to perform, and then we're going to wrap up the night. Kevin Kinney Band, Driving and Crying to really.
Awesome.
I would say blow the roof off, but we're going to be outside. So
I know they're going to have a great time, and everybody. Now, I understand that the admission is free.
yes,
That is amazing. So you get a chance to see, just phenomenal talent from start to finish, and it won't cost you anything other than refreshments and that sort of thing.
Sure.
So that's just an amazing achievement. What a way to wrap up the WHAM Festival.
it's it's the whole premise of this is to increase the accessibility to the arts. We wouldn't be able to do it without the help of our friends at South Carolina Arts Commission, who we get festival funding from.
Right.
And so being able to have that kind of financial support enables us to be able to increase that accessibility by hosting this festival.
And I mean, what a way to wrap it up as well. But so much going on. Now, it starts from when to when?
So it will start at 5 p.m.
No, I mean the actual beginning of the WHAM Festival.
Oh, the WHAM Festival itself starts May 3rd.
May 3rd?
Saturday, May 3rd, with the farmers market, and then we'll run through till May 10th.
May 10th.
And there'll be a lot of activity going on. Like Jenny already mentioned, we'll have the string quartet from Somerville going to be performing at the Civic Center, and then we've got the schools involved, and then you round it off with the finale.
All right, and if somebody wanted to find out more information, they can go to where?
Go to our website, whamfestival.org. There's loads of information on there. Not every single event is free, but almost all of them are. So go on there, check them out. We've got trivia nights going on downtown, the nature walk, the theater performances, but then the big one is the finale, completely free to be able to see this great band perform. Great musical talent. Fill your belly with some great food from our local food trucks, and enjoy our summer evening.
That sounds absolutely wonderful. Matt, I appreciate all you do, my
Appreciate
friend.
it, Miles.
Appreciate what you're doing for
Thank you.
Walterboro and the arts and so much more in the WHAM Festival. Looking forward to it. And yeah, my buddy, Kevin Kinney, he's going to be here with, technically Driving a Crime, but one of the guys from the band's not going to be there. So it's going to be Kevin Kinney and the band to wrap up the WHAM Festival. So much going on. Once again, Matt, appreciate you, appreciate Jenny, appreciate all that you guys have been able to accomplish. This one's going to be a great one.
Thank you.
Once again, for PRTC's Community Calendar, for Matt, for Jenny, I'm Miles Crosby. Thanks for watching. Talk to you again soon.